Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck and Cooper, and I'm gonna do my first, what is it, the first four, well, it was like the 13 days of September reading update. So normally I do a weekly one, but a little over a week ago I had a dental procedure, so I was kind of out of it for quite a few days. So I didn't do much reading, and I didn't film anything. So anyway, so this is my kind of getting back on track. I will return to my weekly updates after this. I'm a little out of practice with the camera, even though I vlogged all the way through August, but whatever. Anyway, so I did make it through my procedure. Everything went fine. It's all looking good. I've had my follow-up. It will be still several more weeks before I'm able to eat normally, but I'm a lot better off. It is very I'm kind of achy a lot, especially at night. So I do still have to take some ibuprofen and stuff like that at night, but I've gotten off the harder stuff that I had at the very beginning. So I'm trying to wean myself off, but every time I don't take the Advil, I hurt. So anyway, I'm trying. It'll be a little bit longer before that is done. So anyway, today is Sunday, and it is rainy and nice out there. I don't miss the hot weather, so it's gonna be a nice cozy day at home. So I thought I better do this update and get this up. So other than that, I had a couple days off work due to the procedure, but really I've just been working this last week. My reading has been really weird because I didn't read for a couple of days after I had after the procedure, and then I didn't read physically all this week. Really, I just, every time I picked up a book, it like put me to sleep. So, and I don't know, that could have been when I was coming off the medications. That could have been the problem. I'm just not quite sure why I had such. So we'll see how my reading goes this week. Audiobooks has worked really well this last week, but I'm just not sure how it's gonna be for the coming week. So let's talk about what I read at the beginning of September. I was doing my reread of the Honey Badger series, Honey Badger Chronicles by Shelley Lawrenson. This is book 5, Born to be Badger. So I reread book 4 at the end of August, and then started into book 5 right away. I did get the audiobook, so I was able to listen to it when I went back to work and finish that off. And then I just gotten the new release To Kill a Badger the week before, and I also got the audiobook for this and listened to it. So I am caught up on the series. I'm caught up on everything by Shelley Lawrenson. I really enjoy her writing. These are urban fantasy paranormal romances. I would say more on the paranormal romance side, but the world is pretty huge. This series is connected to the Pride series, which is the 9-book series that comes before this. Those characters do pop up regularly within these books, but this part of the Honey Badger series, the last 3 books have been about some of the basketball members that are friends with one of the girls from the first part of the series. They are all getting their books, and they are pro basketball in the shifter world. They are all they're all honey badgers, shifters. So, but they're all crazy. And it's them dealing with some bad guys who are after them, or also the Malone brothers. And the Malone brothers are white tigers, and they are just so, sometimes they're so dumb, but they're so funny. These are fun for me, light, funny, but has the violence and action, and people are shooting up things or breaking people's noses, and just like it's you have to like that kind of stuff, and you have to laugh at it. It's really funny. Anyway, these paranormal romances are some of my favorites. I really enjoyed doing my reread, and again, the new book was really, really good. I really enjoyed this one because I wasn't sure how we were gonna like, because Keen was not one of my favorite of the brothers, and I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but he did pretty good. I did like it. So anyway, I did catch up on that series. So I did read that, and then I went back and listened to the end. or wherever I'd stopped. I don't remember. I'd gotten partway through The Everqueen by L.J. Andrews at some point. I can't remember why I put that on pause. I really cannot remember right now. But I came back to it and did I? No, I hadn't started it. I think I started it. I don't remember now. Did I start this already? I don't remember. So I know I listened to the end of the Ever King again to remember where I was. The Ever King, this is the Everseas series. This is book 2. I read the Ever King back in December, and I had bought the Everqueen and the Mist Thief, which are the second and third books in this series. I bought them on the Audible sale at the end of the year. So I've had this for a while. It's on my 25 books in 2025, so I wanted to get to it. Now I can't remember, did I start this at one point? I don't remember. Sorry. You know, my mind is a little fuzzy still. But I did finish it listening at work, and I really had a good time with it. It is not a favorite in any way. This is definitely a series that I don't feel like I need to own physical. Again, I already own the audiobooks. But I will continue on to book 3, The Mist Thief, just to see where that standalone within the series works. I enjoyed this one. It was really a lot of things happening because of what happened in the first book. So the first book follows 2 characters, Eric, who is the Ever King, and was it Livia? Something like that. And she is the princess of the kingdom that had jailed him at some point, and so they'd kind of met, and then he left, and then she, many years later, he is trying to get back to that kingdom but is blocked to him, but somehow she opens it by accident, and then he comes and he kidnaps her so that you know, as punishment for whatever happened in the past. And then they, of course, get to know each other, and they have to deal with a lot of stuff with his side of the of his kingdom and stuff, things going on that are bad, with the disease that's happening, as well as people who are against his rule. And then book 2 is just aftermath of everything that happened at the end of the first book, and then we get to see how it all comes about. It does wrap up pretty well, and I did really enjoy this overall. I think I had a good time. It wasn't the best, but it was fun. This is definitely more of the romantasy, like so it's like pirates and stuff. His is a water, you know, kingdom. So it is connected to another one of her series, which I have not started, but it's like a 6 or 8 book series. I don't remember. I have not looked into starting that one. But I enjoyed this. I didn't love it. But it definitely was a more romance than, it had world building and stuff and things going on, but I would still say it was pretty romance forward. Anyway, I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite, as I said, but I did enjoy it. So I'm glad I finished that. And again, it was one of my 25 books in 2025. So I have made really good progress on that. Then all reading stopped for a couple of days, and then on the Saturday after my procedure, I started A Photo Finish by Elsie Silver. I wanted something light, and these copies have really big print, so I thought that'd be easy for me to read, which did help, because it did take me a couple of days, like 3 days, to read this, which normally probably wouldn't, but I was not reading very well. So this is book 2 in the Gold Rush Ranch series, which was her first series. So I have already read the Chestnut Springs series, and now I'm going back to the Gold Rush Ranch ones. This is Violet's book, and she is the sister to the men in the Chestnut Springs series. So this came first. Her story comes first. So her and the main guy is Cole. They met in a fairly interesting way and had kind of an interesting relationship, and then things went badly, and then they meet again because she is working at the ranch and he is one of the co-owners with his brother from the first book in this series. So it was I was not a Cole fan for the first part of this book. I was like, I don't know about this. Like, I was not sure. And then he kind of grew on me, and you get to know a lot of the stuff behind why he did certain things and what is going on. There was a good little twist of something that I kind of saw coming, but I wasn't sure. But that was fun. I liked it overall, and I'm glad I got to it. Again, I still have 2 more books to read in this series before I can start the Rose Hill series, which is I just got the last book for that. So I have all those books to read, but I'm working on these. Anyway, so this one was a good one. She is a jockey, as I said, on the ranch. So she runs racehorses and stuff. So anyway, I did enjoy it. It's not one of my favorites, but I would say I liked it better than, as much as I loved Billy in the first book. I think overall I liked this book better. But again, this was her second book, so that kind of makes sense that she's getting better. Anyway, so I'm hoping to get to Frontrunner fairly soon. Maybe in another couple weeks, or whenever I feel like it. But I'm not sure about the male protagonist in that one either. So we will have to see. Anyway, then let's see here. And then I have still Kindle Unlimited, at least for a little bit longer, another couple weeks, at least 3 or maybe 4 weeks right now. So I don't have it for too much longer. So I'm trying to get through the JT, I guess it's Geisinger. That's what the audiobook said, but just sounds wrong. Anyway, and the second book in the Dangerous Beauty series, Dangerous Desires, I listened to that. And then I listened right after to, Dangerous Games. So I did both of those. So that finishes the Dangerous Beauty series. So these ones are mafia romances. I would say dark due to a lot of themes in there of abuse and torture. The first book was, it kind of was about a woman who runs away from her supposed husband, and she is being followed by, so that's Ava, and then Nazar, or Naz, is following her. He's paid to do that by this so-called husband, and it's him meeting her and finding out that they don't have all the information on the guy that they're taking money from, and he gets kind of involved when he not supposed to, and then things kind of escalate from there. The ending of the first book was really very action-packed, and things happened and their decision was made, and then the second book starts with that decision, her following through with that decision and how badly that goes. And this is not, I would say, of her books, this is the one I was most shocked by how much violence was in this one. There's a lot of violence in a lot of the mafia ones that I've read, but it was really, I think it was much more towards her, and I really did not like most of that stuff. But I liked the story, and I love the characters, and I did want to see how it went. Book 3 was hard, though. I thought book 2 started hard, and then book 3 was brutal. That was hard. So if you have any issues with violence in any way, especially towards women, don't read this series. As much as I love J.T. Kissinger's writing and her stories and her plot, it was brutal, and it was a hard listen, but I did enjoy them for how it came about, and I like the way it resolved and stuff. And again, these are all lightly connected. The character that showed up in book 2 is a character that's going to be in the next duology that I want to read. That is a mafia one. So I think more, I don't know. I think they're mafia. I don't know. We'll find out. The duology is the next one, is the Beautifully Cruel, I think, is book 1, and Cruel Paradise is book 2. So that's a duology I need to read. And then I think I've read most of her mafia ones, and then I just have some of her other romance stuff. So I want to try to get to as much as I can before I lose Kindle Unlimited. But this series, not a favorite. I don't know if I would ever reread this series, but it was a hard-hitting one, I think. And again, a lot of her stuff has hard-hitting topics in it, but wow, this one was a little hard for me. Anyway, so then I listened to a book that's for my Shelf by Shelf project. So I'm a little behind on that, guys. It's probably gonna take another week or two before I get to the last book in that series. So I did get one of the books done. I need to get done, but I have one more to go. So we'll see how it goes. but it'll probably be another week or two before that video comes out. And then after that, I picked up Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca. So I bought this. Oh, it was during the Barnes & Noble had that romance sale this summer. And so I was, because I've really been interested in it, because this is a paranormal by the author of Well Met. And so this has this little town called Boneyard Key, which is this woman, Cassie, buys a house kind of pretty much from off the internet because she wants to get out of Orlando, or she was trying to get property, but she couldn't really afford anything until she bought this. And should have been surprised at how much the price was, but she still bought it. It's been renovated, but not the best. And she turns out that it is in this small town. They have things about ghosts, and they do like ghost tours and things like that. And her house is supposed to be mean Mrs. Hawkins' house. And so she is not really up on this whole ghost thing. And then she meets Nick, who is the owner of the coffee shop, and he has his own ghostly issues in his cafe. And it was cute. This was cute. I did enjoy it. I did have a good time. I liked all the side characters and stuff, and the ghostly stuff was fun. It was definitely paranormal. I mean, this isn't fake paranormal. This really was. It was really cute. And there was a lot of good themes in here about being, in your late 20s, early 30s, where a lot of you're single, or, things have happened and you're by yourself, and loneliness of that while your other friends are maybe in relationships or having kids and stuff. And I totally could relate to that back in the day. So like, I totally got that. So I liked that. And again, there's quite a few other things about this I don't want to spoil. But I really liked it. I will definitely I already have my hold at the library to get the audiobook for Ghost Business, which is the second book in this series that just came out last week. Yeah, just last week. So I must have saw that, and that's why I thought to get this one. So anyway, that was just kind of fun. Maybe a little pre-spooky season, but I'm really glad I got it. I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. So, so we did that. Anyway, that is all I finished, which in 13 days isn't a whole lot. I do have to confess, though, that yesterday I went down it was kind of a rabbit hole. I don't normally do this, and I'm not a fan fiction reader. I probably was in my 20s, or, when I was a teenager, when we'll just talk about my age here for a second. When there were forums and things that, had, fan fiction for the first time on the internet, I did read it back in the old days. My favorite one is still Twin Peaks and X-Files crossover that I had for years. I have it printed off somewhere. I don't even know where I put it, but I have it somewhere. Anyway, but the point is that it was just, I don't read a lot of fan fiction. But yesterday I started reading these things that showed up on Instagram that were ads for, I'm supposing it's some kind of app that has these stories, and they are horribly written. But some were paranormal. They were about werewolves and packs, and, and then there were other ones that were more millionaire or rich people's problems kind of things. But the stories were all like women who are being cheated on by whoever was their guy, who was supposed to be either their mated person, but then their old love comes back, so they stop paying attention to her, so she breaks away. And it was just, okay, they were bad. Okay, let's fan. So it was pretty much, to me, it was like really, really bad fan fiction. I know there's some really good stuff out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against fan fiction. But personally, I don't normally read any of that stuff. Again, I'm much more, want to read published things. But I let myself have the day to read these really bad stories. I think my brain just needed it to, just to decompress, and they were horrible. Now, I kept looking at them going, I can write better than this. So maybe that was good, because it made me think, well, I could probably do a lot better than them. But they were horrible. But I spent all day reading those. So this morning, the first thing I did was I blocked all those ads for whatever app or whatever what that was that I was looking at yesterday. Within the, I went through Instagram, but I never got out of Instagram to do it. Anyway, point is I wasted yesterday. I didn't do anything except for my buddy read pages, which I will now talk about. So I am doing a buddy read with Berna at Berna's Bookish Adventures, and we are reading Small Town Big Magic by Hazel Beck. So I did read the first 86 pages. Yeah. So we're going to do this over 5 days like we normally do. This is book 1 in the Witch Lore series. So this is urban fantasy with witches in this small little Missouri town. I think it's Missouri. I thought it was Missouri. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I think so. Anyway, some Midwest. I can't remember now. Anyway, I'll have to look it up again. Anyway, but the point is we're following Emerson, who is part of the Chamber of Commerce for this small touristy town. And she is trying to get stuff ready for, you know, certain festivals and stuff. She owns a little bookstore and she has the best friend group. They're all really good. She has issues with the mayor, Skip Simon, and she and him have never gotten along all through school, through graduation, you know, into their adulthood. There's always something has gone wrong between them. And I don't think she's done it on purpose, but, you know. So she's always trying to, you know, get things for the city to get, you know, to pump up the city's tourist stuff. And he is all against anything that she wants to do. And she doesn't understand why. And she is just, I don't get it. And then something happens one morning. She is contacted about part of her, this area that is in danger. And so she goes out there in the very parts of the morning and she is attacked. And in the process, somehow she realizes magic is in the world and she doesn't have an idea. And then finds out that something happened to her when she was younger, that she had her memory erased. And so that's why she doesn't know, but all of her friends know. And so it's the world opening up for Emerson and her trying to deal with thinking everything is not, there's no magic in the world, to knowing that there is, and there is, that somehow she is connected to it. So I'm really, I really enjoyed the first section. I'm not going to say Emerson is my favorite person so far. She is definitely one of those go-getters and who tries to push and have everybody do things her way. I'm afraid of her trying to push to be the one who's leading, even though right now she's the one who knows the least about the magic, and I don't want her to take over stuff, so we'll see. I am listening to the audiobook by Natalie Duke, so I got that from the library, so that's going pretty well. So I will, after I finish filming this, I'm going to listen to my pages for today because I'm a little behind. But I went grocery shopping with my brother, so that took out some time this morning. But anyway, so far I'm really enjoying this. This, as I said, it's, I'm going to say I haven't decided if it's paranormal romance or urban fantasy yet at this point, but it's set up. There's just enough world building. We'll see. It's our world, but couple of little differences, so it could go either way. So far I'm enjoying it. It is, I think, a 4-book series. I don't know if that's all there's going to be. I think the 4th book isn't out yet, but it's coming out, something like that. So I don't know. So if we like this book, we will continue reading them. If we don't, then we won't. But I only own the 1 book, and again, I said I got the audiobook from the library. So anyway, enjoying it so far. And then I did get a library book this week. Again, one of my Simon R. Green books. This is Witch Witch, and this is the 3rd book in the Holy Terrors series. So this is one of his weird series where I don't love it enough to buy my own copies, but I still get it as soon as it comes out. So I actually had to go to a different library to get this because my library wasn't going to buy it, and only the Tigard library was going to buy it. And when we made that decision, because I'd sent in, you know, asking for a purchase and stuff, and they said, oh, well, they're going to buy it. So I got put on the list, and I was the first one to ask for it. And then, but they didn't send it to my library. I had to go to the Tigard library to get it. It wasn't a huge out of my way, but it was out of my way. But anyway, but I would go there for Simon R. Green. So the Holy Terrors is, again, as I said, this is book 3. This is following a a bishop and an actress, and in the first book they are thrown into kind of one of those Halloween 24, you know, like a haunted house. It was like a town hall kind of thing, and they are left there overnight and they're locked inside, and then people start dying. And then the second book was about, you know, well, that was a whole nother thing. Anyway, I read it earlier this year, the second book, and I really enjoyed that too. So these ones are kind of on the edge. He usually writes urban fantasy. I would totally classify them as urban fantasy. But these ones are weird because they're almost Scooby-Doo-ish in the way that, is it real or is there actually magic? So there is some kind of questions on all of them. Like I can't like for sure say one way or the other. So that's why I liked, again, I love his writing anyway. They're very short, sweet. It's only 198 pages. So I'm hoping, I've only read like 16 pages this week because I haven't been reading in the evenings, but I'm hoping after yesterday spending all day on my phone reading those horrible stories, I will be able to read this today. So that's my goal, is to finish this today after I get my buddy read pages done. But anyway, so this one, they are, well, the actress is, her production is seemingly haunted at this theater. So he comes, because when they work together, they pretty much are just a comedy show together. They're little jokes back and forth, and they kind of have this attraction to each other, but he's a bishop. So, you know, nothing's going to happen, but they're friends, you know. And it's just kind of funny. It's cute. Anyway, not everybody's gonna like Simon R. Green. I would definitely recommend The Ghost Finders for it's hilarious with ghosts, and their quips and they're hilarious. And then also, of course, the oh, I'm not gonna remember the name. The Nightside series. And I can't think of the character's name, but anyway, that series I would always recommend. Kitty, what are you doing? Anyway, so I'm hoping to get this done soon. I don't know if people are already waiting for this after me, but it's a new release, so they'll put it on the new release shelf after I'm done. But I really am enjoying that. And then a book I want to come back to after I finish that is Feast of Sparks by Sierra Simone. So this is book 2 in the Thorn Chapel series. Again, this is 4 books. This one I would call kind of more on the, it's kind of dark, spooky romance, because I'm not quite sure if there's anything extra kind of going on. But these are 6 of them? I think there's 6 of them, and they're all at this Thorn Chapel in England, and were there when they were kids, and something happened while they were there. Their parents were up to something, but they're not quite sure what they were doing, and they all come back 12 years later. So they're all in their early 20s, and they all have gone different directions until this point. And it's kind of like a sexual awakening for all of them. So these are very erotic. I would say these are definitely on that scale. But there's something weird about this place and these and how they feel about him. And they're getting involved with some kind of rituals that their parents were doing. And I'm not quite sure where this is going. It's a 4-book series, and I'm only a book and a quarter in, and I don't know where this is going. There's already been so much drama between the characters who like each other or trying not to like each other. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, so I did buy the other books to this series. I bought a lot of Sierra Simone recently, so I do want to get to this book because I want to continue. I want to at least finish Chapel or Thorn Chapel this year. I would like to read some of her other books too, but I'm not going to force it. I'm just meaning I'm going to work on this hopefully after I finish Witch. So, Kitty, you're driving me crazy. Anyway, that is everything. You know, not the greatest for me for 2 weeks, but still got through quite a bit. There's so much stuff I want to read in my brain. I feel like I can't read fantasy right this minute. Like I know I read some week before last, but this week I have tried a couple times of different things. I did DNF a few books. One is a soft DNF. I'm not going to talk about that right now because I'm going to give myself give it another shot when I returned the audiobook, but I got back on the wait list. So I'm supposed to get another 4 weeks. So I'll try it again because it was one of my books of my 25 books in 2025 that I want to try again. But I'm like, I have books that I want to read, but I don't know if fantasy is really calling to me. I think romance is it's super calling to me right now. So I'm just going to keep switching between my different, there's the mafia ones, there's the dark romance, there's the cowboy romance, and then there's the erotic. And I have some paranormal as well. So, you know what? I think I'm just going to keep with that for now, and we'll see how it goes. So, how have you guys' reading been going? How was it this last week? Did you read anything good? As I said, we're trying. I'm trying. We'll see how I do, because again, as I said, yesterday was horrible the way I read, but it felt good for the day, but I knew I had to cut that off, because that is almost like trash TV. It was like the same thing on these stupid stories. Because you only get like the first 7 or 8 chapters, and then it wouldn't show any more than that, and you had to get the app, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So I started a lot of things yesterday, but I can't count any of those pages. I know there's no pages to count. It was just on my phone. It was just a waste, and so I'm not gonna do that again. So I've already said no more. Anyway, I think that's it. So I probably won't have another video up until next Sunday at this point. I don't have any plans I don't think I'm going to get my shelf by shelf done this week. If I get to that book, that's great. But it's one of those books where I'm not sure I want to, I really like to read it physically, but my reading physically is really slow right now. So we'll see. I might break down and buy the audiobook with a credit, but we'll see. So we'll find out. Anyway, I think that's it. Yes, I think that's it. And if you've noticed, all of these books were parts of series. Now, I did start a few series. I completed one series. I'm up to date on another series. I made progress in several. So I'm still doing, and these are all things I did do with series September and the Readathon Rebellion. So anyway, I did go off of prompts for that, but I did read other stuff too. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I am surviving, and we'll see how this next week goes. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.